The day is here when we will be doing the groundbreaking for Catherine Todd Apartments. That's a wonderful thing.
The two things we can always say to our tenant leaders at the Housing Authority. The one is sorry, because no matter what we do and no matter the projects that can come to fruition to redevelop and transform neighborhoods, just like here in McGinley Square and Montgomery Gardens, it is never enough with federal subsidy cuts and HUD doing what they can under the constraints of limited resources, which trickles down to all the public housing authorities. Whatever we do is never going to be enough. The fact that there are sites in states of disrepair, it is not ever going to be acceptable. The fact that maintenance isn't up to par, that's never going to be acceptable. So the one thing we can always say is sorry. And the other is thank you. Thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for everything you do on behalf of your fellow residents as volunteers and giving back to your community. You're the reason we're here today, and just bear that in mind. So thank you to our tenant leaders.
On behalf of our family and on behalf of the family of Montgomery, we just want to thank you, the residents, for not forgetting Catherine Todd. She was a legacy here in Montgomery Project, coming through here as a little boy growing up, going to our house, coming through here on my political journey when she used to call me into the office and say, listen, you don't come down here doing any politicking unless you talk to me. So she was strong, and we have to continue the fight that my aunt put up several years ago to make sure that residents in the housing complex, because she never wanted me to say housing project, she always said housing complex, that make sure that you fight for them things that she fought for.
This project actually started when I was initially on the council, and my predecessor, who had the privilege of serving as mayor in that council, and I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the fact that Mayor Healy and the council then were crucial in getting this started today. And we're just building as we build on previous administrations, and hopefully people will build on the work that we do as well. But it's important to recognize that that council and that mayor had a previous commitment to this, and it wouldn't be happening today without them. I also want to recognize we are privileged today to have a visitor from across the river here, but nevertheless has a huge responsibility involved in what happens over here. And that's to my left, Holly, who is the individual responsible from HUD for all that you see in this entire region. I know this has been important to HUD, important to her, and certainly important to Jersey City. So with that, if you could please welcome her. And we appreciate it. This is exciting because, you know, many of you who are lifelong residents of Jersey City certainly know that Montgomery, Duncan, Curry's Woods were some of the most challenged areas in the entire city. And when I initially had exposure during some of the campaigns to coming here, it didn't take a genius to understand that the model of housing that was built in the 50s and 60s as it relates to affordable housing was flawed. That anytime you build high-rise housing like this with low-income people together, it doesn't inspire what you want to achieve out of this. Because the ultimate goal of what we're trying to do with housing is to make sure that we have seniors the ability to stay in Jersey City throughout their entire life, and at the same time for the younger people, create an environment that people can move from low-income housing to middle-income housing to market-rate housing to literally bring themselves out of poverty. And what was here today or prior didn't foster that sort of recognition or accomplishment or possibility. And so what we're doing today is changing it. The same way we've changed Curry's Woods, the same way we've changed Duncan, the same way we are trying to change Jersey City to move it forward in a very, very meaningful way. And that's what's going to happen here.
Quick look into the past. We, at the same time as we are starting Catherine Todd, are starting the final phase of the revitalization of Lafayette Gardens. We have been honored to be a partner with the Jersey City Housing Authority for the past 12 years. And we are thrilled to be starting here at Montgomery finally, and hope to continue for the next, and I'm not going to say how many years. The place we started at Lafayette was the Lafayette Senior Living Center. So we are repeating a common theme. When we start comprehensive revitalization of we were told first by former director Maria Mayo and by the residents here at Montgomery is start with the seniors. We do. This is called really the Catherine Todd Senior Living Center because it's not just apartments, it's a community, it's social services, and our seniors do not go to nursing homes. They stay in their homes. And this is step one. I have a few people to thank. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development has provided a rental assistance demonstration grant for 445 units at Montgomery Gardens, and that will allow the remaining towers to come down and be replaced with brand new housing. We have a pending application with the New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency who funded this project to the tune of $5.6 million in Hurricane Sandy funds. Anthony Marchetta and the New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency have supported us through every single phase of Lafayette Gardens. We have heartfelt thanks for them. Where we go next is the demolition of 3 more towers early next year, and hopefully the funding with Hurricane Sandy funding of 126 units here at Montgomery Family. Those 126 units will be low-rise apartments for families. They will be mixed income, just like Lafayette Gardens, and we are very excited about that.
I can't think of a better way to start the holiday season, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, with a groundbreaking of this wonderful magnitude. Just think about it. This is the first phase of over 400 units that are going to be reborn here at Montgomery Gardens. You know, it's amazing to see what you will see here over the next several years. We provided the financing here. That's our job. We are New Jersey's affordable housing bank. And whenever we can, we're going to try to work with the local community, especially those that know what they're doing. And let me tell you, Jersey City administration, from the assembly level down to the local level, all know what they're doing. And I couldn't be prouder of being a partner with them in going forward on not only this project, not only Lafayette Gardens, but I think the mayor and the councilwoman would be pleased to know that if I get back to my office not too late this afternoon, I'm going to release something that's going to make a difference over near Lafayette Park. And he said, and the good mayor said, finally. Well, well, let me tell you, you know, we all have our crosses to bear, and this particular project has been with me since I started with the agency. It was with my predecessor for her entire time at the agency, 6 years. So this project has been in the works for over a dozen years. But the Whitlock Mills project near Lafayette Park, hopefully, will be having a groundbreaking within the next year or so. So I'm looking forward to providing the necessary financing there as well.
There is nothing I care about more in this job, sincerely, than the future of public housing. And I know my colleagues here, Ken Atkinson and Jennifer Cribb, share that passion. And I want to say just a couple things to bring what this project is with some national perspective. Secretary Donovan started Choice Neighborhoods to acknowledge that you can't improve people's lives just by improving housing. You have to improve entire neighborhoods. That means, yes, replacing and upgrading housing, but it also means better schools for kids. It means social services on site. It means parks that are safe and clean for seniors and kids. And that's what Choice Neighborhoods is about. And Jersey City was one of the first places in the country to receive a planning grant through Choice Neighborhoods. And what we're seeing today is the first step in the implementation of the plan that Jersey City created. And the things that are unique about Jersey City, and I look at Region 2, but also the whole country, are a few things that make this really special. The first thing is, this may be the only, it's certainly the only that we know of, the only place where the plan got finished, and before, rather than waiting to see if the federal government would give implementation money, This public housing authority went out and said, we're going to make the first building in this plan happen on our own. That's unique, and we think maybe unprecedented in the country, to go and say, we're going to do this, we're going to figure out how to get it done. It's an amazing tribute to Jersey City, and there's a few things that I see here. One is you have a new mayor who adopted that plan. We have some mayors who say, well, if the plan was done by another administration, why should we continue it? That is very short-sighted. To have an administration that sees building on what was good in the past administration, what this community came together and created and said, we're going to follow your lead, not tell you what we want to do, is an amazing thing. Secondly, an amazing thing is tenants that are partners. Yes, they're advocates, but they're also partners with the Public Housing Authority. That is an amazing way to be. You can't sit back and wait for everybody else to do these things. They're in there, they're making sure that this happens for the future of their housing. And you have a housing authority that is the most entrepreneurial that I've seen. We know that things aren't great in Washington, and I don't know, I don't see it getting much better from where I sit. So we need to all work together to think of innovative new ways to make sure communities like this continue, and that there is not a threat to the future of public housing, because we're going to figure it out together. So I congratulate all of you. You are really a shining model in the country for how this can work. So thank you, and thanks for letting me be a part of it.